Well, Donald Trump is under fire for these comments he made about women.
And my people told me about 4 weeks ago, I was saying, no, I want to protect the people. I want to protect the women of our country. I want to protect the women. Sir, please don't say that. Why? They said, sir, I just think it's inappropriate for you to say, pay these guys a lot of money. Can you believe it? I said, well, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them. I'm going to protect them from migrants coming in.
Now, I'm not sure why saying I will protect women from rapists and murderers would be offensive, but of course, the left, the Me Too movement, well, they're upset, as is Kamala Harris.
It actually is, I think, very offensive to women in terms of not understanding their agency, their authority, their right and their ability to make decisions about their own lives, including their own bodies. And this is just the latest on a series of reveals by the former president of how he thinks about women and their agency.
Joining me now is Sky News contributor Bo Davidson. Bo, good to see you. Why has this comment offended the left and Kamala so much?
I think it's classic gaslighting. Trump said he would protect women. But Danica, there are women out there, Kamala Harris namely being one of them, Nancy Pelosi, a lot of Democratic women, lawmakers, who will not protect women because they aren't serious about the border. They aren't serious about immigrant crime. They aren't serious about the fact that people come over here from gangs and are raping and killing women. And Trump has mentioned this many, many times in his rally. So it's a classic gaslight where Kamala Harris is saying, oh, Trump is saying, I'm going to take control of your body. I don't care what you think. That's completely not true. It's a lie. It reeks of desperation that she has taken this position because she's obviously trying to widen the gender gap and try to say, I'm just going to go for women now. I don't care about the guys because I've lost them. But she's trying to make this point that Donald Trump cares not about women or women's bodies, which is the exact opposite of the truth. What Trump is saying is, I'm going to protect women whether you female lawmakers do anything about it or not, because they won't.
She is clearly twisting the narrative, you're right. Now let's turn to polling, because polling suggests that Trump is leading in battleground states, although Michigan in particular remains a toss-up. Bo, it's close. How do you see the last few days of campaigning play out as both sides try to win over voters in key states?
Well, the 7 battleground states all look pretty good. Real Clear Politics shows that it's pretty neck and neck. They've all been looking good for Donald Trump, as I said to you last time we spoke. I think Michigan and Wisconsin, very, very tight. Pennsylvania is a huge key. I think North Carolina is looking good for Trump. Georgia is looking really, really good for Trump. But as you can see, he's traversing the country, going to every single one of these battleground states. And I know that we can't really believe all the polls, but I will say this. Election integrity is a big deal in the United States. And right now, thankfully, due to the mishaps of 2020, a lot of the states have emboldened their election integrity laws. So I'm not going to say that cheating is not going to happen, but I will say that I think it's less possible this time around in 2024 than it was in 2020. So I have a lot more faith in our electoral integrity process. And because of that, I believe truly that the momentum is on Donald Trump's side. And given these unforced errors that are happening with Kamala Harris and her campaign, I think it puts Trump in a pretty good position. But as I've said before, everyone's got to register to vote. They have to vote. They can't sit back. You cannot get cocky, because if you do, you will lose an election.
Well, speaking of errors, Joe Biden has made some fundamentally bad gaffes. So bad, of course, they've ultimately ended his career. But calling Americans who vote for Trump garbage may have just hand-delivered the Republicans an election win.
Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is just supporters.
But this, of course, was not the first time the Democrats have blown up their own campaign. Remember when Hillary Clinton said this in 2016?
You could put half of Trump's supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. Right?
Bo, how have Biden's comments been received over in the US? Is it really a point of contention?
It is a point of contention. And, the media tried to run crisis control in this, but I think to no avail. I think what it will do, and I think we've seen it just today even, is it will embolden Trump supporters. You can offend a candidate. You can call them whatever you want to call them. What you can't do is call their supporters garbage. You can't call their supporters a basket of deplorables, because now you're offending 70 million people or more. And when you're in a razor-thin race where about 3% of people are undecided, number one, you're going to embolden the base. You saw it. I mean, it's Halloween. You got people coming out in garbage bags. And that's because they are taking this moment. Trump has a unique ability to take a moment, an unforced error, and twist it around into a golden opportunity. And his supporters absolutely love it. And if you're an independent, if you're an undecided person, you say, I don't really know who I want to vote for. Am I going to take the guy who I know did well for the economy? Am I going to take this woman who's saying, and this man and her former running mate, basically, who said that all of Trump supporters are garbage? I think that's going to be something that can actually move the needle. Frank Luntz is a very big pollster here in the United States, and he said that of those 3%, it actually could make a big difference. I think it's a tremendous unforced error, and it really goes to show you what's in the mindset of Democrats, that that's all they've got left, is to say things like this.
Well, speaking of Joe Biden, he really continues to outdo himself because a White House Halloween event soon turned into a Halloween horror movie of sorts when the president started biting babies. And look, then he went back for seconds and it really kept going and going. In fact, no child was safe. Bo, what on earth is with this biting and nibbling spree? Why isn't he just being kept away from the cameras?
Trick or treat, biting my feet? Give me something good to eat. Is that where we're at now? I have an 8-month-old son, and I play bite with him all the time. We rough and tumble, we roll around. But that's because it's my own son. You don't go and bite and nibble on other people's children. That's insane. I don't know if that's dementia or if that's just who Joe is. He continues to do these things, whether he's in his full mental capacity or not. When George Bush was president, we had No Child Left Behind. I think Biden, his swan song right now to the United States of America is No Child Left Unbitten. Nico.
Yep, I think you're absolutely spot on. It's really cringe, isn't it? Bo Davidson, great to see you as always. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.